Sports. My name is Scotty and joined by Mike and Matt as usual. This week we will be concentrating more on baseball as we are going to kick off our NFL 8-week special breakdown of the divisions starting next week. And we're going to bring on another friend of ours, Tony. So there will be 4 of us during the football season. So to kick things off kind of tonight, as far as baseball goes, one of the teams we want to talk about is going to be the Reds. Some of the younger players that they have coming up making an impact. I mean, a month ago, the Reds were in 4th place in their division. Now they lead the division. I don't see them
half a game out now.
Yeah.
Now they're half a game out.
They're on a 3-game losing streak.
Well,
Thanks.
I mean, they did play the Braves, and then I guess they lost tonight to lose the lead. I don't think Milwaukee's going to keep that division lead though. So I do pick now. I'm definitely going with the Reds to win that division. Part of the reason, they have now they first called up. As far as offense goes, Matt McClain, the middle infielder. So as of right now, he has 117 at bats. Now he doesn't have like a lot of pop. He has 3 home runs, 16 RBIs, 4 stolen bases, but he hits for average and he gets on base. He's hitting 325, and that was something that the Reds were missing while Votto's been hurt. Votto's always been like kind of the average guy, keeping things going and stuff like that. So they were missing him. And then obviously everyone knows about Ellie De La Cruz being brought up. Okay, so right now, Ellie De La Cruz,
you've been living under a rock.
Yeah, you definitely aren't paying attention to baseball. So 15 games into his MLB debut, he hit for the cycle versus the Braves. I mean, that just hitting for the cycle by itself is a great feat. But to do it only 15 games into your, MLB debut is a whole nother thing to talk about. But right now he's at 69 at bats. He's hitting 333. Now this doesn't count tonight. This isn't updated stats. This doesn't count tonight. This is as of right now where I'm recording this. I don't know if he went up and down. I think he went 0 for 4 tonight or 1 for 4.
0 for 4. He's at 315, which is still a very respectable average.
Okay, so we'll call it 315 now. Then he's going to have 73 at bats, 315. He does have 3 home runs. He's got 10 RBIs, and he is 8 for 8 on stolen bases. So, I mean, now the Reds also got Joey Votto back. So now they have their leader in the clubhouse is back. And I think that's going to make a big difference when it comes to these young guys and what it's going to take to win this division. So what's your guys' take? Because there is another player in the Reds organization I do want to talk about. I don't know if they're going to be able to bring him up this year. I hope they do, because he should. I think he's earned an MLB shot. But what do you guys think about this NL Central race? Do you guys give it to the Reds as well, or do you think Milwaukee still has a chance?
I'm going to go with the Reds, man. From what I saw this weekend, I saw all 3 games against the Braves. Put up a fight, man. This Spencer Steer kid, rookie year, right? I mean, yes, I think last year he played 28 games, so he didn't qualify as a rookie. So this is his rookie year, but this guy went. What did he go 4 for 5 against us with like 4 RBIs? And I want to say it was the 3rd game or 2nd game. Can't remember what game it was, but they have a lot of young talent, and I was surprised they gave the Braves right for their money.
Yeah, all 3 games were decided by 1 run. So
yeah,
I mean, it wasn't none of the games were a blowout. No. So it proves they're right there with the top teams.
Yeah. And if they're able to bang with the Braves, they're not going to have any problem handling games within their own division. Is my guess. So
one other thing regarding the series, Matt, you brought this up too the other day when we were talking. They didn't face the cream of the Braves rotation either. It was the back end of the rotation. So I don't know if that if they meet again and it's different pitchers. Is that gonna change anything or not?
Yeah, if we get Freed or right back, or they go against a Strider or Elder right now who's dealing, it could be different. But from the 6 games that we played this year, like you said, that all games have been decided by 1 run. I mean, they have a great team, young talent, and I was impressed. They gave us a right.
Another young, hungry team.
Yeah,
another young, hungry team is the Marlins. I mean, they're They're hanging on right there in the division.
And we all know, like Scott said, Milwaukee, they tend to fizzle out. I mean, they stay above, they tread above water, but towards the end of the year, they just, for the past couple of years, I don't think they have it. I want to say Cincinnati have this division at the end of the year, and they could make a late playoff push with this young talent if they gel as a unit.
Yeah, and it doesn't help too that I mean, I shouldn't say it doesn't help. I mean, it helps the Reds, but St. Louis has, everyone picked them to win the division, and I don't know what's going on with them. Like, I don't know if it's managerial, I don't know if it's the players. I don't know what's going on. Paul Goldschmidt is still having a pretty decent year. Arenado has come on strong as of late. But they're just not playing good baseball overall. Nolan Gorman, a rookie for them, he came out hot out of the gate, but he's really cooled off. But it didn't matter because even when he was hot, they still were not winning games.
There's going to be a fire sale coming up. I mean, I'm hearing a lot of rumors that a lot of beat reporters reporting that there could be a potential fire sale over there in St. Louis. So who knows?
Well, they're playing some of those guys. I mean, like we just mentioned, Paul Goldschmidt and Arenado, they're on big contracts. Arenado being a third baseman. I mean, that's you. If you can get that good third baseman, that's gonna hit for average and power. That's gonna be a huge benefit to your team if you're kind of like in the mix as far as like I'm almost there, not quite there. Maybe the Dodgers, try to go for him. Paul Goldschmidt is going to be a guy if people can get their hands on him. I mean, that's last year's NL MVP. He could really help your team out.
Another team that I could see Arenado going to, potentially the Yankees. I don't know if you guys heard the comments that Donaldson said. He said this may be his last year. They're going to be looking for. They'll be in the market for a third baseman if that's true.
Yeah, but what do you do with Donaldson for this year? Do you just kick him to the bench?
No, you let him play out. But if the Cardinals don't do a fire sale, if they play it out, Yankees could trade for him after the season.
Yeah, we could see that. So shifting, right back to the Reds. One of the players I want to talk about now. This guy is right now he's the number 4 prospect in baseball. He's 23 years old. His name is Christian Encarnacion Strand. Okay, so last year, in 484 bats between high A and double A, he hit 304, 587 slugging, 32 home runs, 114 RBIs, and he I think he had 8 or 9 stolen bases. So he's not going to steal like a whole bunch of bases, but those numbers right there, Joey Votto all day when Joey Votto was in his prime. So now that Votto's in his last year and he's getting ready to retire, this guy's going to come right in and just plug in for Votto, and the Reds are not going to miss a beat. In fact, you can almost argue, because you can almost argue with Votto being on the back end of his career, his power numbers have declined. He's not hitting for this. He's not hitting for the same average. But now you plug this guy in with De La Cruz and Matt McLean, who could always be on base in front of him, and they get that power bat.
And Spencer Steer. Yeah. I mean, that's a.
Is he currently in AAA or is he in AA?
He's still in AA right now. I really don't know why. I don't think he has much else to prove. Actually, you know what? I could be wrong, Mike. Actually, I could be wrong. Let me
because
double check this real quick.
If they are gonna call him up, he needs to get the AAA experience.
I don't think so. There's a lot of guys that skip it.
You're gonna go straight from double to the majors.
Michael Harris.
So I'm wrong. No, he is in AAA. I'm sorry, where he is currently batting .329 with a .639 slugging percentage.
Honestly, Cincinnati's just they need a rotation, man. Like they said all throughout the broadcast all weekend against the Braves. Hunter Green's hurt. Graham Ashcroft, his ERA started hot. His ERA now is 7.17. They just need their starting pitching. Their bullpen is phenomenal. They're I want to say top 10 ERA, but it's just their rotation is they need to get that under control to compete. Honestly, if they have that rotation figured out, that would be a dangerous, really.
Yeah, and the other guy that they're missing, that's another strong pitcher. Now he hadn't done too good to prior to being hurt, but Nick Lodolo is another guy that not too many people are talking about. He's another really good young pitcher that the Reds could use in that rotation right now. So if he comes back, I mean that's going to help them a lot. So the Reds, I think they're just starting the gel right now. let's see what they do after the All-Star break. But I think they could, as far as like their record goes, the rest of the season, I think after the MLB, the All-Star game, they could be top 5.
They remind me of the 2018 Braves. Whenever everybody was young, Acuna, Albies coming up throughout the system, Riley. They look like that fun, energetic team that hasn't gelled yet, but when they do, it can be, they can be the Braves. I mean, something to that caliber. They have the bats in that lineup.
Yeah, no, they most definitely do. So another thing we discussed about talking about now that we're, at that point, is payrolls, because I think we're far enough into the season now where we can start discussing payrolls and the mistakes that some of these teams are doing. Like, okay,
yeah,
here's the first place payroll standings. Okay, the Braves, 202 million, 8th highest payroll, which is fine because you got to remember they have locked everybody up. Now their pitching staff, they haven't. They still got Strider. They're gonna have to lock up. You got Fried. You got to lock up. But as far as like the field goes out, they got Harris already locked up. Acuna, Albies, Riley, Olsen.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, everyone is locked.
I think
locked in.
Arcia is only on a 3-year contract.
Yeah, but I don't think they keep him after this contract. I think they're gonna. I think that is a position that they are going to,
come from the farm system.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's even going to come from this. I don't know if it's going to be Shoemaker or Grissom. I don't know. If they don't feel comfortable with those two, I think by next season, and don't forget the draft is coming up. So we're also pay attention to what the Braves draft. They might go after a shortstop. We don't know, but they're at 202 million, 8th place, 8th highest payroll, and they got most of their guys locked up. That payroll isn't staying. It's not going to get crazy high. So good for them. The Rangers, the first place, 197 million. At the ninth, it's the 9th highest payroll, but they're also playing without
DeGrom.
DeGrom, thank you. Without DeGrom. So I mean, you could take out what he's making 30 million this year, right? DeGrom?
Yeah. He's 30.
I mean, you take that out. I mean, realistically, they're actually playing with $167 million payroll this year, which if you were to do that, that puts them like around like the 15th spot.
Yeah.
So, DeGrom makes it. Now the Twins, we're going to get into the Twins here in a little bit, but the Twins are 500 club. They're in first place. They're at 153 million. That's good for 17th. Now for the fun teams, the teams that are doing it right, because all 3 of these teams have done this based off of drafting. They're not going out and signing big free agent contracts. So Arizona is at 114 million. That's the 21st highest. The Reds at 93 million. That's the 25th highest. Now Tampa Bay, the best record in baseball, their payroll is only $22 million more than the Oakland A's. At 76 million. Yep. And they're at 76 million, which is good for the 28th highest payroll. So, I mean, they're almost dead last. They almost have like the lowest payroll, and they're over here with the best record. So I don't think it always comes down. I mean, Matt, me and you have discussed this quite a bit. It seems like whenever these guys go to free agency, they sign this huge contract, they come out and they stink sometimes. And I don't know if it's, well, I got my money, so fuck it. Or if it's, damn, I got all this money now, I got to perform. Instead of just going out there and doing what they normally would do. So do you think, do you think it's just, do you think it's better to go than and try to build through the draft, take your time, do it right, and be good for years? Or do you think it's good to try to do like that 1-2 year splash where you try to sign all the free agents, and try to like win that championship?
Well, how's that working out right now? You got the Mets that have a huge payroll because they went all in on pitchers, and look at the Padres. They got a huge payroll. Padres are the 3rd highest payroll in the majors. The Mets are the highest payroll in the majors. You have the Dodgers, who are 5th highest.
Yeah. Now the Dodgers, huge expectations obviously coming from that team. They're sitting in 3rd place in their division right now. behind the Giants, who are at 188 million. You know, they had the 11th highest
what were
payroll.
the Giants, like 12th, 11th, something like that?
Yeah, 11th at 188 million. And then we just talked about Arizona having the 21st highest, and they're behind both of those teams. But even worse, yeah, it's like you still have the Padres at 200. They're 37 and 41. I mean,
Yeah.
how are you gonna, like, something has to give. Now, I don't know what it's gonna be. Now, if you're the Padres, do you wait and see how the second half goes? Or do you perhaps try to unload some of that money? Because their pitching hasn't been their pitching was supposed to be the weak point. And their pitching has not been terrible. It's been that offense has been just so inconsistent. Now Soto's playing a lot better. Nobody has, but Manny Machado has been freaking awful. He has not been the Manny Machado that he normally is, and he just demanded that new contract. That he wanted to restructure that contract. You know,
San Diego as a team is ranked 25th in batting average.
You can't do that. And remember, I think I was one of the people who said at when we were talking about, you know, the beginning of the season, how watch out, San Diego is going to have like perhaps the best top 4 hitters that we've ever seen on a team before. And it hasn't even come close. So I think the other thing that this might come down to is chemistry. Just because you have a bunch of superstars on your team doesn't mean that you're going to have the chemistry. Do you remember, man, how long ago, Matt, you might remember the year. Do you remember the year when it was still the Redskins, when the Redskins went out and they bought everyone? Do you remember that? They were Deion Sanders was still.
Ball. Yeah, I remember they went all in. Yeah,
and everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, this team's going to be so good. That defense is going to." And didn't they miss the playoffs?
That was the Eagles. I think that was the Eagles. Remember the Eagles? They had that super team with Vince Young, and they had all that stuff. Remember they signed all those DNs.
They had that too, but
the
Redskins did it like, I think it was like, I want to say it was good like 15, 16 years ago. I think it was not long after Dan Snyder took over that team, and they went all in. But it's to me, it's more about chemistry. If you think about some of these teams that build based off of, you know, drafting people, these guys come up with each other in the minors, right?
Yeah.
At some point they play with each other in the minors. Like, look how close Albies and Acuna are, you know, when they came up together through the system. That translates into your professional team.
Yeah.
So you might go out and buy, like, you know, 2, 3, 4 superstars, and then you bring them over and everyone's playing who's got a bigger dick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to me, I'll take the chemistry over anything else. And you could look at the teams that have the chemistry. If you look in their dugout, like during breaks and stuff like that, you got some teams that the guys are just sitting around, like no one's like sparking no one up. You got other teams, you got guys laughing, you got groups.
They're loose. They're playing loose.
Yeah.
Enjoying each other. Yeah.
And that's going to lead to wins, in my opinion, because, you know, we've all played sports throughout
one thing I like seeing in baseball is the guys in the dugout that are celebrating the accomplishments and the achievements of the other players. The teams that are out there that are having fun, look what the dugout's doing after that player hits a home run.
Yeah.
You know, the Braves had that giant hat until who was it? Was it New Era? Told them they couldn't do it anymore because it wasn't a licensed hat.
Yeah, which I think is.
Then after that, then they brought out the sword. Now they got that foam sword they're doing. Look at the Angels. The Angels have that what is it, like that samurai hat looking thing that they put on. You know, it's
Matt. You lost visual, Matt. Oh, there we go.
You know, I like seeing the guys out there having fun on the field.
Yeah,
it does.
It makes the game enjoyable.
You lost your audio too. Your audio's I don't think your microphone is still going. Might have gone into your headset. But while Matt fixes that, yeah, there you go.
there you
go. Going back to payroll. So check this out. So Mike, you actually shared this with us. So the Mets, who have the highest payroll at $353 million, to put it in perspective, the Yankees had the second highest payroll at $277 million. So they're
and Yankees have the third worst. Yankees have third worst batting average in the majors.
Yep, and I think I said at the beginning, I said, watch, Aaron Judge is going to be hurt. He may not even play again this year. You know that?
Yeah, ligament in his toe.
Ligament.
Yep. The Yankees, yeah, I think they always seem injury prone. I don't know what goes on. They're kind of like the Niners of the MLB, man. Their guys are always just getting hurt.
Well, history shows that these huge, major, long-term contracts never work out.
No, but they keep signing them.
So that brings up the next point, which we're probably going to talk about here in a few minutes, is going to be Shohei.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna play a little game.
He's gonna walk.
Shohei.
Yeah, he's gonna walk.
Yeah. But so Verlander and Scherzer this year for 2023 payroll, those two combined, $86 million. Okay,
Ooh.
And you're getting 2 out of 5 games.
Yep. Compared to the Braves, this is what $74 million gets you if you do things right. Acuna, Olsen, Riley, Albies, Strider, Denard, Harris.
You got
all those guys equal
core group of their team right there. You have the heart of the team.
Yeah, you got your 1, 2, 4, 5 hitter right there. You got Harris on the back end. Arnold, Darren Arnold, dude, he's been great. But that's only $74 million.
Just name 5 All-Stars.
Yeah.
And
it's crazy because I understand Verlander had a great year last year coming off of Tommy John. And I think we were talking about, man, how nice it would be if the Braves got Verlander, a veteran, and then when I saw he went to the Mets, I was a little upset. I'm like, dang it, dude. I really don't want Verlander in this division. Then here he comes. Age starting to catch up with him. He's 41 or going to be 41, right?
He's 40.
So now I'm 40 years old, and I understand how my body goes now. I'm not a professional athlete, but I can tell over the last couple of years, my body has started to change a little bit, and even working out and stuff like that, it's really hard to keep the same like in shapeness, as it was before. Your diet has to be much
longer to recover.
Yeah, it takes longer. And Verlander's been an innings eater his whole career. Homeboy has just pitched and pitched and pitched and pitched, and it doesn't matter how good you are. Eventually, time catches up with you. Yep.
All the time is gonna catch you.
And unfortunately, because I do like Verlander, even though he's on the Mets, I still love Verlander. Like, I have nothing bad to say about him. But I think the contract that the Mets gave him was a mistake, just based off of, you know what I mean? Like, they should have brought him in as, like, not expecting him to be your number one, because you still have Scherzer, who's been having probably his worst year as a pro.
But yeah, Mets were also trying to go all in the next couple of years.
Yeah,
they were looking at it as this being their window of opportunity, and they're trying to capitalize on it.
Yeah, and I think last year had a lot to do with that. They were. This is my guess. They were probably like, hey, look how good we're doing, and DeGrom's always getting hurt. Let's bring in Verlander, who's an innings eater, and maybe he'll put us over that hump to where we can take this division. And honestly, I think it's been their manager. I can't remember the gentleman's name, but the TikToks I always send you of the Mets.
Frank the Tank.
Frank? Yeah,
Frank the Tank, dude. And Frank, now a lot of people make fun of Frank because of his rants, but if you really pay attention to his rants,
he's not too far off.
He's not too far off.
There's a lot of truth to what he's complaining about.
A ton of truth to what he's talking about, and I gotta agree with him. You know what I mean? It's their manager. I don't think it's the players. I 100% think it's their manager, and I think we might see come a firing, maybe even by All-Star break, because Frank's
Mets are currently 8 games under 500, and they are 16 games out of the division right now.
And that's what the third highest payroll gets you, right?
First.
Oh,
yeah, they have the highest payroll by a long shot. They have the highest payroll by over $75 million.
Hey, Mike, tell me you're not listening to your own podcast without telling me that you're not listening to your own podcast. Yeah, so we are going to cut this podcast a little short today only because we are coming back Saturday to we're going to get meaty on football.
Yeah, it's coming.
But one last thing we wanted to talk about, you know,
Twins.
The Twins.
Tony,
Okay,
Tony.
let's jump into the Twins just real fast. So the Twins right now are leading the AL Central at 40-40. Okay, and it disappoints me, and I understand there's always that one division each year that's going to be like that, but they wouldn't be in first place in any other division. And on top of that, if you look at any other AL division, they would be in last place in the AL East, last place, and they would be in fourth place in the AL West.
Yep.
So what? That's 8 teams ahead of them.
They'd be fourth place in the NL East. They would be third place and right in the thick of it in the NL Central, and they would be fourth place in the NL West.
Yeah, both Centrals, NL, AL are not too hot.
No, but I mean the NL is going to change. I mean with the Reds, yeah, NL is going to change. Reds are going to start distancing.
Yeah. But my point being is that even if you're a first place team and you're battling for that playoff spot, like clearly you're not going to do anything. Even if they get hot, I don't see them being like a Phillies team like last year. If I'm the Twins and people come knocking for some of my players, I might sell. I might do it. I might do it, even though realistically, they could go on a 5-game losing streak and be well out of first place. You know what I mean? They're not separated much by anyone. The Guardians are not a terrible team either. They just haven't played up to expectations. But so that's a division I definitely want to keep an eye out for. But so one last thing, we're going to jump on this for a little bit because I want to know what your guys' number is. I know what my number is on this, but I want to know your guys' number. Okay, so right now we're gonna do We're gonna go ahead and assume Shohei is gonna test free agency. Okay, even if he doesn't test free agency, the Angels still have to sign him to a contract. So no matter what, he's gonna go on to a new contract. Okay, so how much will it cost to sign him? Okay, because as of right now, these are his stats. As a pitcher, he's 6-3. That's 89 innings pitched, 117 Ks. He holds a 3.13 ERA and a 1.04 WHIP. Now that right there is first or second pitcher on your staff all day. Yeah. Okay. Batting wise, okay, he's hitting 297. He's swiped 10 bags. Last year he only swiped 11. He already has 10 stolen bases, so he's going to go ahead and beat that.
He got 11 tonight.
Yep, he's got 25 home runs, which as of right now it's either tied or it is the most home runs in.
I think he and Matt Olson are tied.
He hit 26 tonight. He has 26, 62.
Okay, so he's leading again.
There you go. 62 RBIs. Now, isn't that
that's leading? I know.
Yeah.
All right.
So just batting wise, he could win it. He could win the MVP. Just batting wise. And I argued last year that even though Aaron Judge did what he did last year, I still felt Shohei was the MVP because the MVP is the most valuable player. Okay. This guy is hitting every day, and then he pitches every 5th day. Okay, he is getting wins in a way that other players cannot.
He's also third in total hits in the AL.
Yeah, you see. Man, now, to go ahead and talk contracts, Corey Seager just signed a new contract. Okay, he's having himself a great year, even though he was hurt. Do you know if he hadn't gotten hurt, he was actually on pace for 162 RBIs?
Sure.
If he hadn't missed in those games, and he was going to be in the mid-30s for home runs. So I think he's a fair candidate to compare Shohei to, even though Shohei is obviously going to have more home runs than 35. But Corey Seager is at 35 million this year. Now, pitching wise, Darvish, Stroman, they're at 25 million. Wheeler's at 24 million. So if you add both those up, That's a $60 million player that we're looking at. Okay. So do you sign Shohei to 10 years, $600 million? Because you have to think the contract has to continue to go up because he's just entering his prime. So
I think 60 per year is high.
Okay.
I thought he was going to get 550. I don't think he's going to hit that 600 mark.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to hit 60 a year. For comparison, right now Verlander in this, I understand he's a two-way player, but for comparison, the highest contract per year is Scherzer and Verlander. They're both at 43 and a third each.
But they're only pitchers.
I understand. After that is Aaron Judge. He's at 40. So
okay. Now, are you going to tell me that he's not putting up the same numbers as Aaron Judge?
No, but what you're doing is you're adding both of those other combined. I get it. Yeah, he is.
He's both.
I understand. Yeah, he is getting two ways. I don't think you can combine them both like that. There's going to be some drop off from there.
Yeah,
he's not going to get 60 million a year.
Okay, so this is what I would do. I would front load the contract because eventually his pitching will stop. But the dude can hit. He can stay in the DH and pitch. So you're going to get a pitcher for another 7-8 years, and he can hit still for the next 10 to 12 years. So I don't think all right, how about a 12 years, $600 million contract?
It has to be 12 to 14, I think, for him to get 600. Somewhere around there.
What would you guys offer him? What do you guys think it would take to get Shohei?
10,500.
10,500, Mike?
Yeah. He's going to be somewhere close to the 52 million a year.
Okay. I'd say we're going to test free agency and he becomes Atlanta Brave. Max Fried, get out of here. We don't have to pay $1 million.
You know what? You're right. But what I think ends up happening, he's going to go to the Dodgers or he's going to go to the Yankees. He's going to go to a huge market team, and that's not the Braves. Now, I think that would be awesome if the Braves did that. If I was the Braves, no joke, I would trade Fried and man, I don't, maybe a Riley. I know that would be really hard to do. And someone in the farm system to get Shohei.
Grissom.
He's gonna put up kind of the same numbers pitching wise, but that's a much better offensive category than
I don't think any team has to trade for him. They're not gonna right now. They're in a playoff hunt. I think the A's are gonna get beside themselves and think they have a chance to sign him. When everybody knows I don't think he's resigning with Anaheim. He's gonna walk. So if they don't trade him by the trade deadline, it's just he has
Angels are 5 games out of the division. Angels are 5 games out of the division, but they are a half a game out of the wild card.
Yeah, so
they have a chance.
They're gonna hold on to it as long as they are in the playoff hunt. They're gonna hold them,
and they're gonna lose him for nothing. And it's maybe they lose him for nothing. That's what I'm thinking. That he walks. And at that time, who knows? Who knows where he goes? Unless somebody pays up for him. The Dodgers.
They backed themselves into this position.
Yeah, they have. But so, all right. Well, we're gonna come back on this, guys. So for those of you that are listening, starting next week, we do have our 8-week breakdown. We're gonna be breaking down every NFL division. I mean, we're going to go pretty in depth, schedule, players, what we think is going to happen. It's going to be a good time. If you love the NFL, you're going to love this. Come All-Star break, we're going to do a separate podcast, I think, just for the All-Star break. Talk about, who made the All-Star team, what we expect out of the second half for MLB, because it's going to be hard to touch on a lot of MLB while we're going so depth into the NFL. So we will make time for MLB at some points. Especially, we're starting with some of the lower divisions first in the NFL before we jump into the real fun stuff. We kind of wanted to keep the beefier teams the closer we get to the start of the NFL season. So hopefully we'll see everyone there for that, because it's going to be excellent. Like I said, we're going to bring on our buddy Tony and Matt. Listening to them, it's like a couple monkeys trying to fuck a football. It's a really fun time to
the football
to watch and listen to. Yeah, the football always seems to win. So, But with that said, guys, I hope you guys enjoy your evening. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week. Adios.
Peace.